Welcome to the Westview Preview Show. I am your host, Jacob Golson, joined here by
Kaj Pierce.
Alex Wegner.
Tessa Wilcox.
And Will Schuler.
Today we have the Omaha Westview Wolverines taking on the Omaha Buena Vista Bison. We expect to see a great game to start districts for Westview. Kaj, what do you expect to see in tonight's game from the Buena Vista Bison?
I expect to see a lot of the same for Buena Vista. I feel like they've struggled a lot, this whole season. I'm not trying to be overcritical, but James Harden on the Rockets is averaging more than this whole team combined. And that's a problem. And I expect it to keep happening and them not to, get better.
Yeah, I agree on that. Buena Vista has struggled point-wise, and we could see Westview really pull away and, pretty much have a blowout.
Well said. Westview has not struggled, but they have shown some flaws, especially turnovers and getting rebounds down low. Tessa, how do you expect Westview to figure that out going into districts and potentially state?
Yeah, I think the Kearney game, the last game that Westview was scheduled to play, was canceled. They should be fresh. They should be ready to go. You would think that rebounding and turnovers are something that Coach Simons would emphasize this long week of practice. So I'm excited to see how Sailor Smith rebounds. She's somebody that has been great for them on rebounding, but just getting her more time in the paint, I think, will be crucial.
Yeah, this game's just kind of like a proving ground for what we can do against what is not really a high caliber team, of course, but it shows if we're going to be struggling to get rebounds against a team like Buena Vista, who has not been doing good this season, then we're going to be struggling to get against teams like Lincoln Northeast and Omaha North if we do get to state.
Well said. Buena Vista to have a shot tonight in the dark at all costs. What needs to change?
The glaring issue, they got to score points. They're not going to keep up with Westview and their high-powered offense if they can't score points. I think they also have to limit the rebounding ability, like you said, Sailor Smith. She's going to be a big one for Buena Vista to limit because they can take as many shots as they want. If she's going to get all the rebounds, they're just going to keep shooting.
Yeah, it's not just Sailor Smith that needs all the rebounds. They need to play as a team. They need to play together. They need to come into the game with momentum and leave the game with momentum for their district championship game.
Yeah, I think another thing for BV2 is they don't shoot great from around the arc. I know that last time they played Westview, it wasn't incredible. So I think maybe just getting their threes going against a really good Westview team who does shoot threes and makes them consistently, they need to get that going as a part of their game.
Yeah, definitely. It's just we got to see a fully retooling of their team if they want to have any chance against the Wolverines. We already went to Buena Vista, already beat them. We've already proven our point. Now it's really their game at this point to prove that they are a team that can be respected and feared.
As you and Tessa both mentioned, Kaj, Westview does kind of rely around one player. How do they get their whole team involved tonight?
It's pretty simple. They just got to pass the ball more. Make sure every woman on the court gets, an ability to touch the ball, make some plays. And I feel like towards down the stretch, maybe even in the clutch, I feel like there's been two players or maybe even one player that kind of just overall dominates. And I feel like that can change, but that's kind of how this team is. Now I don't know if it's been working really well for them, so should they change it,
Yeah, I kind of agree with that point. I think that Kaylin Bailey is going to be huge for this team tonight, as she always is. I've said it before, but she can do everything for the team. I think bench players, again, are a big component. The sophomores maybe getting into this game, trying to get McKenna Rumpy, Coltrane, Maya Sawyer going, because they are players that are crucial for this team. Jaylee Williams, the senior, see what she can do in her last districts at Westview, just kind of that sort of thing.
Well said. So we talk about assists, and Tessa, Lucy Fierro really does command assists. She leads the team in assists for Westview. How does she play an impact tonight? Yeah,
I think she plays a huge impact. She got hurt in districts last year, I believe. I think is when she got hurt. So I think getting to see what she can do in districts in crucial moments will be big. She passes the ball to Stella Williams, again, a lot. Kaylin Bailey, she passes the ball around really well. Around the arc is where she mainly plays.
Lucy Fierro plays a big role in assists for Westview as she leads the team. And you both mentioned assists are going to be huge tonight. How does Lucy Fierro's role be impacted tonight, Will?
Well, it's just the role she's always played. Of course, being one of the smaller players on the team, being somebody who can set up plays and make those assists is really crucial. So I think we see her make a big impact, honestly. Just because this is going to be a game that's honestly not going to be in Buena Vista's favor. It's going to be in Westview's favor, hopefully. Knock on wood on that. But so I think it's just going to be a tool-up game to see what we're able to do and how we're going to be able to function going into the district final.
As Will just mentioned, there will be further games in district for the winner tonight. They will either see Lincoln Northeast or Norfolk. Alex, what do you think Westview sizes up against those two opponents?
You know, I think Westview has a really good chance at either each of their opponents. I think Northeast will be one of the harder of the two. They've been playing pretty good all year. They played in their semi-final conference game, and I think Northeast is going to be the harder team. I think Norfolk, I think they'll just have about the same comparisons, the same, just kind of like same style as Buena Vista is going to play tonight. So I think on Friday we'll see Westview taking on Northeast.
Well said. Any thoughts on this side of the panel?
Well, it's just going to end up with who wins the semifinal in Lincoln tonight as well, because there are two fairly decent teams. Lincoln Northeast has obviously proven itself to be kind of a sleeper team, while Norfolk, they're just trying to fight for something at this point. So I think no matter who we get, I'm going to say Lincoln Northeast, honestly, but I think it will end up being a good game at the district final.
We have a great game in Lincoln tonight, but let's focus on the game here in Omaha. As we established, Buena Vista does not have the great offense, so Westview shouldn't have too many struggles defensively. So how do they elevate their offense in an easier opponent like this, College?
I mean, I feel like their offense has been really, really good, and I don't know how much you can really elevate it from now on, because Stella has just been, of course she's slowed down a little bit, but she was absolutely lights out, got her 1,000 career points earlier in the year, and Lucy, been amazing for me on the arc in the past couple of games, have been that woman to, shoot the ball, get them in the position to win, and, just keep driving in the clutch. I feel like if they really, really want to, be better, just shoot more, I don't know, like space the ball around, make sure another girl can be that girl for me on the arc, and make them be good in the clutch.
Yeah, I think Westview really needs to idolize their big players like Kaylin Bailey and Sailor Smith down low, but I also think they need to get their shots going on beyond the arc. They didn't play on Friday against Kearney, and that was a huge chance to see what they're up against and what they could use on and work on to get to state. And so I think to elevate, they need to be big down low and be able to shoot beyond the arc.
Westview, as we said, they did get their game canceled against Kearney, so that doesn't give them time to prep. Tessa, do you think that will positively or negatively affect this Westview team?
I think it probably will positively affect them. Kearney is a really good team. They are hosting their own district. They are District A3, I believe, something like that. So I think they probably would have beat Kearney, just in my personal opinion, but I do think getting that rest and not having to play a team that is a very good team will help them, even going into if they do end up making state. It keeps bodies healthy. You obviously don't want any of your players to get hurt. Stella Williams, Macy Kellner, Kaylin Bailey, you don't want any of them to have any lingering injuries down the stretch. So I think it'll probably positively impact them.
All right, well, we'll end it here and get it to score predictions. Alex, what are your score predictions for tonight?
I think Westview takes this one pretty good. I got Westview 75, Buena Vista 38.
I think that Westview is going to, be very comfortable in this game, and not much else to be said. It's going to be pretty dominant by Westview. I think it's going to be 77-43.
Well said, Tessa.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, along with what Kaj said. I'm going to say 73-42.
Will?
Honestly, from my perspective, I don't think Buena Vista really has that offensive potential. I mean, if we don't have to knock on wood, but it's just Westview is the better team, so I'm going to have to say Westview 69, Buena Vista 24.
Well said. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see you back at the desk. Sit down, bro. We're not sitting.
Skylar, what the fuck? No, for some reason speakers in here are actually like for like what?
Should we hate each other and how are we gonna call them?
I don't hate you.
They like scale.
Welcome into the den for tonight's A-6 semifinals game between your Westview Wolverines and the Buena Vista Bison. Tip-off is expected shortly. Jacob, what are you looking forward to in this game?
I'm looking forward to see Westview dominate tonight. They have a great starting lineup. They have a great team all around. They have good sophomores. They have great seniors. Buena Vista hasn't shined this year. They can't score the ball really efficiently, so I think Westview's going to be able to come out here with a pretty dominant win tonight.
We will see how that ends up going. Kaylin Bailey in for the tip-off for Westview. Rebecca Solomon for Buena Vista. The ball is tipped, and it'll go Westview's way. So Westview will start out on offense. Williams passes over to Bailey. Bailey over to Fierro. Back down to Kellner. Williams in the corner. Part 3 is good! Williams getting started early tonight. Westview gets the early lead. Ball gets passed in for Buena Vista. Abby Baxter passes it over to Solomon. Solomon passes it inside. Basket isn't there for Buena Vista. Rebounded by Bailey. Fierro over to Kellner. Over to Williams. Ross over to Fierro. Fierro for 3. Shot not there, but it is rebounded by Buena Vista. Good rebounding for Buena Vista so far, something that they have struggled with. Hayes over to Evans. Evans drives the ball in, puts up a shot. They get the offensive rebound, so it's passed back out to Baxter. Solomon, her pass is deflected. Remains Bison basketball. Hayes passes to Solomon. And that will be out on BB, so it's Westview basketball. Not a great mistake by the Bison. Fierro flips it to Kellner. Kellner over to Williams. Williams for 3. She doesn't make it, but Ross will get the rebound for Westview. Kellner for 3. Not there. Rebounded by BB. In the last matchup, Westview out-rebounded the Bison by a lot. They had 19 offensive rebounds, something that BB is going to want to pay attention to in this game.
Offensive rebounds are huge for the Bison, especially when they don't score that much. It gives them the second chance opportunities to put points on the board.
Baxter, shot is missed, but they get the offensive rebound. Shot just off the mark. Another offensive rebound. Pass over to Baxter. Baxter drives towards the basket. Puts up a shot just off the rim. And Fierro will step out of bounds, so it's Bison basketball. Westview up 3-0. 5:47 left in the first quarter.
Westview needs to do a better job at closing it out defensively and getting the rebound.
Ball almost lost for BV. Just flip it out, back out to Baxter. Baxter puts up a wonky shot and is airballed. Seems like she got hit in the face. Piero over to Williams into Bailey with an easy layup. Puts Westview up 5 points. Gonzalez will sub in for Baxter. Buena Vista looks to capitalize. Get something going on their offense. Counter tips the ball, and they regain control. Bailey with the easy basket. She has 4 of the 7 points for Westview, and Buena Vista will call a timeout. Westview's up 7-0. 5:21 left in the first quarter. We are back. Westview's up 7-0 coming out of the timeout.
We saw Emmy Baxter head to the locker room after she suffered an injury to her face. With their lead scorer, Nia Lowell, already out, that's going to be huge when Emma Baxter's their second leading scorer. They're going to need to step it up offensively without their 2 stars.
Yeah, Gonzalez, who subbed in for her, only averages 0.2 points per game. So not great stats from her. Hayes, heavily guarded by Kellner. It'll be Westview basketball. Turnover is something that Buena Vista cannot have, especially down 7 already. 5:14 left in the first quarter. Kellner over to Piero. Piero into Ross. Back over to Williams for the easy layup. Just easy points coming from Westview so far. They are up 9, not allowing any points from Bison so far.
The Bison have to get it going offensively. 0 through the first half of the game.
Driving towards the basket. She is trapped. And it will be Westview basketball. Not great by Jediah Hayes. Williams over to Bailey. Back on to Piero for 3. And she sinks it! We talked about Piero getting going on around the arc on our preview show. And we see her make 1 so far. Jacob, do you see her going for more 3s this game?
Yeah, for sure. Piero does a lot of things for the Western basketball team, especially playmakers. She finds their playmakers like Stella Williams outside. She finds Mason Kellner outside. She finds Taylor Smith inside the paint. So she does great at that, and she, as we just saw, she can also shoot the ball very well. So that's awesome to see tonight during this first district game for Westview.
Yeah, for sure. She got hurt in the last districts that she played at the Den. So it's great to see her healthy again this year. I believe we will see McKenna Rempe coming into this game after the timeout. So we'll see what that sophomore can get going.
McKenna Rempe plays really physical, and she plays hard for this Western team. So that's great to continue to apply pressure defensively when the Bison have already scored 0 points so far. So that's huge for Westview. I like that move.
Yeah, for sure. If you're BV, what's your game plan right now? You're down 12, 4 minutes left in the first quarter. What are you trying to enact here?
You just have to score. That's the only thing. I don't know if you need to shoot 3. I don't know if you need to get everyone inside. You just have to score. They haven't scored yet. That needs to change. You can't score 0 points and expect to be even close. So
that's a momentum shift too. Westview has all the momentum right now. BV, you can see they're not in their layups or their easy shots they aren't making. So they have to. I think they have to see a basket go in.
Yep.
Ball is passed inside to Baxter. Looks like she's back and healthy.
That's great to see.
Hayes over to Evans. Evans goes around, guarded by Ross. Pass to Solomon. Solomon back over to Evans. Evans' shot is off the mark. Rebounded by Fierro. Bailey for 3. Not there. Rebounded by Ross. Bailey in the same spot, and she sinks it. Kaylin Bailey having a great game so far. Westview up 15-0.
It's a huge lead for Westview early. They need to keep applying pressure though.
Baxter. Looking for somewhere to pass. Evans. Back to Baxter. Back over to Evans. This offense is running through Baxter and Evans right now. McKenna Rempe playing great defense. And it will be off of BV, so it'll be Westview basketball. Jaylee Williams and Sailor Smith, both seniors, checking into this game. Fierro bringing the ball up. Catrone over to Fierro. Into Smith. Under to Rempe with the easy layup. Nice ball movement by Westview there. Evans trying to get past Catrone, someone who we know plays physical. Pass it off to Hayes. Hayes over to Baxter. Smith guarding Baxter, and that will be the first foul of this game. First one on Sailor Smith. Westview's up 17-0, 2:57 left in the first quarter. Macy Kellner back in for Westview. Pass into Hayes. Hayes takes her own shot. Off the mark, rebounded by Kellner. Smith. And Smith will be fouled on that play. 2 back-to-back fouls for both of these teams.
Yeah, fouls are a huge part. I mean, we saw Monday night when the boys played Kearney, so they're a huge part of the game in general, and we're going to see if both teams can limit them tonight and not get in foul trouble.
Yeah, Catrone for 3. Not there, rebounded by Smith. Back out to Rempe in the corner. Off the mark, rebounded by Smith. As she gets the putback. Smith, we also talked about this in the preview show. Smith is going to have to get the offensive rebounds going as Rempe gets the steal and bucket.
Well, that's what I talked about when McKenna Rempe has so much hustle there. She goes, gets a quick steal, gets another bucket, forces the timeout on Buena Vista. Westview's up 21-0.
This is a crazy margin. 21 points for Westview so far. Something I mentioned before, in the past matchup, Westview won 65-22. Westview has almost as many points in the first quarter as BB did in the last matchup. It'll be interesting to see what kind of happens to Westview's offense, who they try and get going, because it seems like Buena Vista doesn't have an answer for them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Buena Vista has to figure something out. You're in such a deep hole. Just one basket going in the hoop would be so huge. You have to clean it up. You have to play a little smarter. You have to play faster. The slow stuff hasn't seemed to work so far for Buena Vista, so they need to change the pace.
Yeah, trying to get past Rempe, who plays pretty up close to the half-court line. And also just taking shots that you can make. There are some shots that I think in the first quarter weren't BB shots. They didn't have to shoot those, but they did. And that led them to not have any points.
Yeah, well, we see both Westview teams defensively play a full court press, kind of double and trap defense. And it worked phenomenally for Coach Freeman, sometimes against Kearney, but there were some times when it showed shows. But the women seem to be doing it great here tonight.
2:24 left in the first quarter. They get the ball inside to Evans. Two of Westview's most physical defensive players in for them. And they will call that foul on Jaylee Williams. The second for Westview so far. Geiger coming in for the Bison.
It's a good spot here if you're Buena Vista to get a basket.
Over to the corner, shot up for Baxter, and they finally sink one. I mean, Baxter, the leading scorer in the game, able to get it going. Smith under the basket for 2. The defense of Buena Vista not able to adjust to the fast pace of Westview.
Yeah, I mean, Westview does so good at getting the ball down the court extremely quickly. Again, we see like the similar kind of coaching style for the men and the women, so that's awesome to see here, and that just works phenomenally for them.
Hayes, pass over to Evans. Evans over to Baxter. Geiger sets the screen. Baxter tries to hit a three off the mark. Rebounded by Jaylee Williams. Smith back out to Williams for the layup. Great passing by Westview. They're just communicating great tonight. Able to break through the defense very easily. Hayes over to Evans. And that will be Westview basketball. Great by Jamie Williams to plant her feet there. And get the ball back. Westview up 25-2. Just over a minute left in the first quarter.
That's Deshia's Evans' second foul of the night, so she's already in a little bit of foul trouble. She's still got a couple to get, but they should watch that a little bit closer.
Patron over to Rempe. Rempe for three. Not quite there. And it will be a foul on Westview during the layup. That is a foul on Jamie Williams, her second of the night. So there are two players in this game already with two fouls. Maya Sawyer into the game. So two sophomores in for Westview as they are up 23 points. Baxter bringing the ball up. And that will be off on Westview.
That's another example of a little trap. They double her, they force the ball to go out of bounds. And now Westview's in a good spot.
Back out to Baxter. Nice defense by Rempe. Baxter almost couldn't find a spot to go. And that pass is over Deshia Evans' head. Catrone will pick that up. Westview with 16 seconds left in the first quarter to make something happen. Rempe into Sawyer. Back out to Smith. To Kellner for three. Off the mark. Rebounded by Smith. And she will be fouled. Nice by Westview. Even though they weren't able to make the shot, they have an opportunity to maybe get up by a substantial amount and add two to their score.
Yeah, well, we've seen a complete dominance by Westview in this first quarter, and Buena Vista is going to have a lot to talk about, and they're going to have to fix that in the second quarter and the rest of the game.
Smith made her first free throw. She was 58% from the free throw line. Second shot coming. And she sinks that one. BB will roll the ball and try and get something to end this first quarter. Evans puts up a Hail Mary and was not there. Westview is up 27-2 going into the second quarter. back for the second quarter of this basketball game. Westview's up 27-2. Westview's dominated so far. We'll see if BB can get anything going as they start with the ball. Evans, pass over to Baxter. Baxter, back to Evans. Those two really only pass to each other.
Yeah.
Evans looking for somewhere to go. Back over to Baxter. She's not able to drive it in, but Evans will go up, and her shot, it looks like it was tipped a bit. But Hayes' shot is off the mark. Rebounded by Ross. Sawyer, layup isn't there. Rebounded by Geiger.
That fast pace by Westview is exactly what you want there. Sadly can't capitalize on it, but they did have a good look, and that's continuing to beat Buena Vista all night.
Yeah, for sure. Hayes shoots the three. Off the mark, rebounded by Ross. Fierro moving fast. Sawyer back and out to Williams for three. And she has it. 6 points for Stella Williams. I'm sorry, 8 points. 2 threes for Stella Williams. Williams leads the Westview team in points. And they will call that a jump ball. It will be Westview basketball. I think Hayes wanted a foul there, but the defense able to just make contact with the ball. Sawyer into Fierro. Fierro to Williams. Fierro to Sawyer. Sawyer passes to Williams. Williams for three. Not quite there. Rebounded by Ross. Nice offensive rebound. Williams Fierro as she shoots the three just off. Rebound up for contest, and it will be a jump ball, so Bison basketball.
We saw some great hustle there, especially by Stella Williams. She stood in there, got the rebound. She might not be the tallest person on this Westview team, but she does have a lot of heart. We also saw her shoot the three, which she's amazing at. 1,000 points in Westview history, so that's awesome.
Stella Williams, one of the elite players for all 4 years of this Westview team. Baxter pants her feet, passes it over to Gonzalez. Gonzalez over to Hayes. Defended by Bailey. Hayes drives up, and she will be fouled.
I haven't been the biggest fan of Buena Vista's shot selection tonight. I think they could clean that up, and I think they could have a little more points on the board. I don't know if they would have 30, but I think that if they went in maybe more times instead of shooting that three, I think they could be a little closer in this one.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about, instead of driving towards the basket, they float up unnecessary shots that just, they fall short and even sometimes don't even make contact with the rim. Second shot by Hayes is off. Bailey over to Fierro. Back over to Ross. Sawyer out to Williams. Almost loses the ball, but gets possession back. Ross to Fierro. Over to Bailey for three. Off the mark. Rebounded by Sawyer. And she gets the putback layup. Westview up 32-3. Maya Sawyer's first points of the game. Hayes. Pass over to Baxter. Back to Hayes. Hayes likes to shoot her threes. I feel like she was trying to create space for that. Not a great pass. But Hayes' shot is off the mark. And Sawyer will end up getting that ball. And she goes down. And she will be fouled, sending her to the line. That is Alana Gonzalez with that foul. Maya Sawyer, 56% from the free throw line. First shot incoming for her. That shot is in and out.
Well, that whole drive was amazing hustle by Westview. We saw her chase the ball down all the way to the court, get there, hit the Euro step, play through the contact, still try to make it, and she gets to the line and shoot two. Missed the first one, but it's still great hustle from Westview.
like watching Westview out on the floor, there's no lack of heart from this team. Every single player out there is going after rebounds, something that I think Simons has emphasized, something that they haven't really done during all season. But they have really picked that up tonight. Baxter to Gonzalez. Back to Baxter. Something I noticed about BB, they don't have great movement without the ball.
Yeah.
It seems like when there's players who aren't being passive, they just stand there and wait for it to come to them instead of creating distance, which I think is why the Westview defense has been so dominant. Coltrane to Catrone. Back around Potomac into Sawyer. Out to Catrone. Coltrane for three. Just off the mark. Rebounded by Sawyer. Westview with another opportunity. Potomac. Back to Catrone. Around to Coltrane. James across the court to Potomac. Catrone will be fouled on that shot. Westview will go to the free throw line once again.
Well, it was good ball movement for Westview, and it looked like Buena Vista just couldn't stop and like get the ball, force a shot, or anything like that. And then they end up just fouling, which we've seen them do a good amount tonight. I think that's their 5th foul of the game, their 2nd of the quarter. So that's something they need to clean up going into halftime.
Yeah, for sure. Sam Smith in this game for Maya Sawyer. Westview is up 30 points, like Jacob had mentioned. Right, Smith gets the rebound off from this layup. Potomac's shot isn't there. Smith with another rebound, but her shot is off the mark. Baxter brings the ball up for Buena Vista. Around to Gonzalez. Gonzalez back to Evans. Evans gets the ball back. A shot goes in. She's been shooting a lot of those and they haven't gone in, so it's nice to see one finally go through the net. And Smith gets the easy layup.
Well, we saw that on their first bucket of the night, too. Westview just quickly down the court, doesn't give Buena Vista time to process the shot or even get to react on defense. So that's something Buena Vista needs to think a little quicker.
Yeah. Geiger back in for Buena Vista. In for Solomon. Evans the inbound. Passes it into Baxter. Baxter, one of their star players, hasn't been able to get going so far tonight. And her three makes contact with the net, but not the rim. So it'll be Westview basketball.
That's, again, just not the greatest shot selection. If they could figure that out, I think it would be, just as I mentioned earlier, a little bit of a closer game, but
James for three. So Smith tips the ball back inside. Potomac for three. Off the rim. Rebounded by Buena Vista. Shots not falling as consistently for Westview right now. Gonzalez over to Baxter. Evans passes to Baxter. Baxter back to Evans. And Evans' shot is blocked by Smith. That play kind of resembles how BB has played this entire game, as that and one opportunity will come for Smith. Just not great by BB, even that shot. Just, I know we've been saying it, there's not really much else to say about Buena Vista right now.
It's still a great hustle by Westview, which is going to help them in further district games and state. That's a great hustle. She gets the ball, goes down, gets the and one. They're up 37-5. They're having fun. They're putting in their sophomores. It's awesome to see.
And Smith's shot goes in. What's interesting to me about this Buena Vista team is Geiger. She's one of the I think one of the tallest people on this team, but they don't play her inside the paint very much. She plays more around the top of the arc as Hayes' shot is off. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I don't know. As we just see, the rebound kind of looked grabbable there. I don't want to say she didn't fight for it, but maybe like her way to get rebound. She can't rebound the best for the team, and maybe she can shoot way better. But I don't know. We haven't seen either of those come out tonight.
For sure. Reckon Coltrane for 3. Everyone on Westview getting going. Baxter to Solomon. Solomon into Evans. A nice layup by BB. Those are the kind of plays that I think this Bison team needs to get going. They were able to get Evans in some space by herself. Westview defense not able to catch up with her. And that's what they need to do to try and close this gap with Westview. James for 3. Off the mark. Rebounded by Hayes. Evans passes it back to Hayes. And the ball is swatted away by Coltrane. So it'll be Westview basketball. Patron passes over Coltrane's head.
Well, that's a rare turnover from Westview, especially tonight, and that's insane to see. But they're still playing amazing, and they're still getting back on defense and playing good defense.
Hayes' shot is off the rim. Rebounding isn't going great for Westview right now. And Baxter will be fouled. We talked about how Westview's tempo is what sets them ahead, but I think in that last play, I think they tried to play too fast. I think they're trying to get ahead of this Buena Vista team who hasn't been able to catch up with them. I think there's a middle point that needs to be found for Westview. Don't play too fast where you make those turnovers that you shouldn't make, but also play fast enough to where you're getting ahead of the Bison.
Yeah, I agree, and especially don't play. I mean, you're up by a good number here. Everyone agrees on that. So don't play too hard where your players might get injured when you have a tough Lincoln Northeast or Norfolk coming up. So don't play too hard, but I think they continue this pace where they beat Buena Vista rebounding. They don't turn the ball over as much, and they can shoot their 3. I think they'll continue to dominate Buena Vista tonight.
Evans gets the and 1. BB quickly, they just put 5 points on the board out of nowhere. James for 3, and she sinks it as the buzzer goes off. Going into halftime, Westview is up 44-10. Jacob, any thoughts as we head into halftime?
Westview just needs to continue doing what they're doing. It's obviously working as they have a huge lead going at half. Buena Vista just figure something out to get more. They did score a little bit more in the second half, or second quarter, excuse me. So they continue to do those things. I think Westview will pull out, but maybe Buena Vista get something going here as this will probably be their last game of the season.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be back at the start of the second half. We are back for the start of the second half of this game. Westview has possession. They are up 44-10. Fierro over to Williams. Williams to Kellner. Williams passes it in to Bailey. Her shot is just off. But it will be a jump basketball, Bison ball. So it will be Bison basketball. Emmy Baxter bringing the ball up. That is Hayes, guarded by Kellner, passes it back over to Chance. Evans, back to Baxter. To Evans for three. Shot is off, rebounded by Fierro.
Surprising to see Westview go out with their starters to start the second half.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they come to the bench soon. Ross's three-point shot is not good. Rebounded by Solomon. Baxter. Pass over to Evans. Back to Baxter. Screen is set. Baxter passes back out. Chance over to Evans. Back to Baxter. Into Chance. Evans. Shot is up, but it's not there. Rebounded by Solomon. And they will call a shot clock violation. Westview basketball.
Well, that's kind of how all the Buena Vista possessions have looked so far. They've looked like they've been able to do it, like get the rebound after missing, but they just haven't been able to put it in the hoop.
Yeah, for sure. Nice steal by the Bison there. Solomon over to Hayes. Hayes drives it in. Her shot is off, but she will keep the basketball. Baxter looking to pass. Passes over to Hayes. Hayes for three. Just off. Rebounded by Ross. Passes over to Fierro. Fierro into Bailey. Shot, she cannot sink that one. Rebounded by Baxter.
Kaylin Bailey's been amazing in the paint for Westview. Sucks that she can't come away with that one, but she's still having a great season and a great day from the inside the paint.
For sure. Evans. Passes to Hayes. Hayes back to Evans, over to Baxter. Evans drives it in. Shot is off, rebounded by Bailey. Kellner passes it to Fierro. Into Ross. His layup isn't good. Rebounded by Solomon. Westview's offense not being as high-powered as they were in the first half.
Yeah, well, they were taking down the intensity a little bit, but they're still playing good enough on defense to where Buena Vista doesn't look like they'll have a chance to come back in the game if they keep playing like this. So it's still good by Westview not wanting to get injured before the Norfolk or Lincoln Northeast game.
Yeah, good defense there by Westview. It is still Westview basketball. Geiger coming in for the Bison. Fierro looking to inbound the ball. Puts it over to Bailey. Bailey for three. Just off. Rebounded by Geiger. Her pass to Evans almost was stolen. But BB will have possession. Baxter. Trapped. It will be a 30-second timeout for the Bison. Westview up 44-10. We are back. Westview up 44-10. It is Bison basketball. Baxter over to Hayes. Hayes over to Evans. Back into Geiger. Another thing about BB2, they aren't able to get very close to the three-point line either. As that's in and out, rebounded by Bailey.
Well, thing to note for this Buena Vista team is they only have 3 scorers tonight, with Deshaya Evans leading with 7, but the other 2 scorers, they only have 3 combined points.
Yeah, not great as Bailey sinks that 3 to put Westview up by 37. Evans to Baxter. Back over to Evans. All the way across to Hayes. She wanted to shoot that 3, it looks like. Baxter back to Hayes. Baxter almost loses the basketball, regains possession, as she shoots the 3. Not there. Rebounded by Bailey. Abby Baxter not getting many great looks tonight. Cross out to Williams. Williams for 3. Just off. Rebounded by Piero. Her shot is off also. Rebounded by Kellner. Great offensive rebounding by the Wolverines. Bailey. Off the mark. Rebounded by Hayes.
Those were rare misses from Stella and Lucy Fierro, especially Stella from 3 and Lucy Fierro from inside. Obviously, not too bad of a night for them, but still would like to see those go in.
For sure, great defense by Westview, gets the ball back. As Ross passes back to Piero, I don't know if she was expecting that one. Kellner for 3, and she sinks it! It will be a 13th timeout called by Westview.
Let's run the clock.
Westview is up by 40 points in the second half, which means coming out of this timeout, we will have running clock. We're about to get back to action here at the Den. We have a lot of new players in this half for Westview, a lot of substitutes. Rempe, Catrone, Williams, Smith, and also James in. Tessa Mackenzie James playing. She hasn't played the last couple of games because she twisted her ankle, so that's nice to see her getting some time here.
There will be a running clock after this inbound because of Westview's lead right now, so we'll be running clock for the rest of the game.
Baxter bringing the ball up. Passes to Hayes, who almost loses it. Hayes to Evans. Evans back to Baxter. Back out to Evans for 3, and she sinks it! One of the first 3s for BB of this game. Catrone to James, over to Rempe. Out to Smith. Back out to Catrone. Across court to Rempe. As she will start to drive, passes it back out. Catrone over to Rempe. Rempe for 3. Just off. And Williams will get the ball tipped back into Rempe. So a second chance for Westview. Williams loses the ball. And she will end up passing it out of bounds. Bison basketball.
Deshaya Evans has 10 points on the night when she only averages 6 on the season. So it's been a dark night for the Buena Vista Bison. It's been a little bit of light in Deshaya Evans. So it's great to see that going for Buena Vista.
Sure. Evans with the ball. Hayes back to Evans. Somebody they're definitely going to want the ball in the hands of. As her shot is off. Rebounded by Solomon. Looks like they will try and reset. Again, no movement by Buena Vista.
Buena Vista just kind of looks like statues when they're not getting the ball, which doesn't seem to be effective against a very tough Westview defense.
No, for sure, and they don't have many players inside, which, and we've seen just playing around the three-point lane hasn't worked for them. It's kind of interesting to see them stay with that strategy.
And what's even weirder about it is we see that Buena Vista almost has the height here on Westview, so I would attack a lot more inside, but they seem to be shooting the three and the long twos a lot more.
Yeah, for sure. Get Solomon under the basket. We see that she can rebound really well. We haven't really been able to see her shoot any baskets. 23 seconds left. Shot clock is off. Shot is off. Rebounded by Rempe. Patron gets the easy layup. Patron has 3 points on the night. And that will be it for the third quarter. Westview up 52-13. We are back to the fourth quarter. Westview has the ball to start. They are up 52-13. Potomac over to Rempe. Sawyer out to Coltrane. Back to Rempe. Inside to Sawyer. Passes it to Williams. And her shot is counted. Williams with the and one opportunity. That is Gonzalez with the foul.
Williams only has 4 points tonight, which isn't bad, but she's done so much for Westview defensively, which is awesome to see.
Baxter. And that pass will be tipped by Westview, so still Bison basketball. Gonzalez looks to pass it. Baxter passes it back out. Shot is up, but it's over the basket. Rebounded by Solomon. Underneath the basket. Chance will get points for Buena Vista. Westview up 55-15. Trumpy to Potomac. Over to Jaylee Williams. Pass to Maya Sawyer is off of her hands, but they get the ball back. Not great passing by Westview. And they will call a foul on Abby Baxter. Potomac to Rempe. Rempe over to Sawyer. Over to Potomac. Passes it to Coltrane. Sawyer. Shot is off the mark. Rebounded by Baxter. It seems like Westview's trying to really waste this running clock, trying to effectively get this game over and head on to the Friday's game. Baxter to Hayes. Gonzalez. Shot by Hayes is off. Rebounded by Sawyer. Rempe to Potomac. Back over to Rempe. She will drive towards the basket and get the easy layup. Westview up 57-15. McKenna Rempe with 6 points on the night.
She's done a lot with the Euro step tonight, as the other players on Westview have, and the Euro step's been really good for Westview, especially just driving into the paint in general and scoring.
Yeah, for sure. Potomac gets that rebound. 4:49 left in the game. Coltrane to Potomac. Williams into Sawyer. Back out to Rempe for 3. Just off. Rebounded by Coltrane. Great hustle by the sophomore. Sawyer to Potomac for 3. Just off. Rebounded by Solomon. Hayes goes it to Gonzalez. Back over to Hayes. Inside, and that will be out on Westview, so still Bison basketball. Smith and James in for Westview. Evans also back in for Buena Vista. Baxter passes it in to Shantz. Over to Evans. She loses the ball and James gets possession. Coltrane goes fast and gets the easy layup. Sophomore making a statement in this game. And Rempe will get the steal there. Again, another easy layup by Westview. Bison, they seem defeated out there. There's not much at this point that they can do to come back. So it seems like they're not playing with much momentum, not much tempo.
Yep.
They're just really passing the ball around.
McKenna Rempe, the sophomore for Westview, she's looked awesome tonight. She has 8 points, she's hustled, she's gotten the rebounds. It's been awesome to see, especially for a Westview team that's senior dominant. It's especially to see these young players come up and show us what the Westview future can be like.
Yeah, Breckham Coltrane there, the sophomore with the 3-pointer to put Westview up 64-15. There will be a foul on Westview. Still running clock. Westview almost up by 50 points. Williams and Potomac back in for Westview. Ball is in, but over the head of Shantz. As Jaylee Williams' shot will be off. Rebounded by Wallace. Wallace in for Buena Vista. We haven't seen her all game yet. Hayes for 3. Just off, rebounded by Smith. Just under 2 minutes left of this game. And Smith will be fouled.
Just a dominant win here for Westview tonight. It's been amazing to see them play this hard all game long. I mean, their starters, they still played a great amount. I think the starters are still leading scorers for tonight, even though they didn't play the most minutes. Shows that Westview can be really good heading into districts and state.
Yeah, this has to give them some confidence too, even though this was a game that should have been a Westview win.
Yeah.
On paper, Westview is the better team. Just seeing this score on the board should give this team just something to be excited about as they play again on Friday here at the Den. As Smith makes her second free throw.
And to see all your role players do such a big job, like Jalen Williams has tonight, like McKenna Rempe has tonight, those players who don't usually get all the spotlight on them because of the other great talent on Westview, seeing them going off tonight in a district game, it's awesome to see.
It will be Westview basketball as the clock is winding down. It'll be interesting to see if Westview takes a shot here.
No shot clock. They could dribble it out. I'll take a shot.
Buena Vista maybe looking to close up this game with some points, but they will turn it over to Westview, as I will imagine Westview will just look to dribble this ball out. 10 seconds left in the game. Westview with a dominant 50-point win. They scored 65 points, the same amount of points that they scored in the last meeting against Buena Vista, but BV only able to put up 15. Westview will head on to the A-6 finals on Friday. Depending on the outcome in Lincoln tonight, we will see who their opponent is. We will be back here in the den. Jacob, any last thoughts?
It was a murder in the den tonight.